Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight into a really vital topic today. Why an emergency fund is the first step toward financial freedom. It might not sound like the most glamorous part of finance, maybe.
Definitely not. But look, understanding why it matters can fundamentally shift your whole financial picture. It really is the bedrock.
The bedrock, yeah.
Without that cushion, even small unexpected costs can just throw everything off track.
Yeah.
Derail plans, lead to debt. It's your financial first aid kit, essentially.
Yeah. And it's kind of a sobering thought, isn't it? That so many people are living right on the edge, paycheck to paycheck.
It really is. Nearly 80% of Americans, the stats show.
Wow. So when life throws those curveballs, and it always does, right? A medical bill, maybe losing some hours at work.
Yeah, exactly.
Not having that buffer. It's like walking a tightrope with no net below. So our mission today really is to dig into why this fund is so foundational and then give you a clear, sort of actionable blueprint for building one that actually works for you.
And it's not just about dodging disaster, though that's huge. It's also about giving yourself options.
Options? How so?
Well, when something unexpected pops up and you have the cash ready, you get to make decisions from a place of strength.
Instead of desperation.
Precisely. You're not forced into bad choices, like high interest loans or selling investments at the wrong time.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So let's unpack this. The first question people always ask is, okay, how much? How much do I actually need in this fund?
Right. The magic number question.
Yeah. And the answer is, well, it's not one size fits all, is it?
Not at all. It's really personal. Depends completely on your own situation.
So like different life stages, different needs.
Exactly. Think about a single person, maybe renting, stable job.
Yeah.
They might feel pretty secure with, say, 3 to 4 months worth of essential living costs saved up.
Okay, 3 to 4 months. But then what about a family? Maybe they've got a mortgage, kids.
Yeah, the picture changes. Homeownership alone brings bigger potential surprises, right? A leaky roof, the furnace goes out. So for them, aiming higher, maybe 6 to 8 months of expenses, provides a much stronger safety net. More peace of mind.
Right. And what about people whose income isn't the same every month?
Yeah.
Like freelancers or folks working on commission?
Variable income earners.
Yeah.
That's where an even larger fund is really, really valuable.
Because you have good months and bad months.
Exactly. So having maybe 8 to 12 months, sometimes even more if you're self-employed, saved up, that gives you stability during those leaner periods. It smooths things out.
Okay, so those are good guidelines. But how does someone listening figure out their specific number? It can feel a bit overwhelming just thinking about calculating it all.
It can, but it really just boils down to one core task first.
Yeah.
Taking a really clear, honest look at your essential monthly spending.
Essential, not just total spending.
No, the absolute must-haves. The things you need to keep your life running if, say, your income suddenly stops.
Okay, can you break that down? What categories are we talking about?
Sure. First, your housing costs. That's rent or mortgage, plus essential utilities, electric, water, heat.
Got it.
Then transportation. Car payments, insurance, gas, or maybe public transport costs.
Okay.
Food and groceries, obviously.
Right.
Your insurance premiums, health, auto, home or renters. Any minimum debt payments you absolutely have to make.
Minimums. Okay.
Yeah, just the minimums for this calculation. And finally, basic communication, your essential phone plan, maybe basic internet.
So you add all those up. That's your monthly essential spending number.
That's your number. And once you have that, you just multiply it by the number of months we talked about earlier, the number that fits your situation.
Okay. So if my essentials are, say, $3,000 a month, and I'm that single renter aiming for 3 months?
Then your target is $9,000. Simple as that.
Makes sense. Now, where do you actually keep this money? You probably don't want it just sitting in your checking account.
Definitely not. That's way too easy to dip into for non-emergencies. The ideal spot is a dedicated high-yield savings account, separate from your everyday checking.
High yield. So it earns a little interest.
Yeah, you want it working for you, even just a little, but the key is separate. That little bit of friction having to transfer it out helps you pause and think, is this really an emergency?
Good point. What should people look for when choosing one of these accounts?
A few key things. Number one, no monthly fees. You don't want fees eating away at your savings.
Right.
Also, no minimum balance requirement, if possible. Makes it easier to start small.
Okay.
FDIC insurance is absolutely essential, protects your money up to the limit.
Non-negotiable.
Totally. You need easy access when a real emergency hits, but maybe not too easy, like with an ATM card linked to it.
Gotcha.
And like you said, a competitive interest rate. Every little bit helps over time.
Okay, so we know why we need it, we know roughly how much and where to keep it. Now, the big part, actually building it. That can feel like climbing a mountain for some people.
It definitely takes time and effort, no doubt. But thinking about it in stages makes it feel much less overwhelming. We can break it down into, say, 3 phases.
Okay, phase 1, what's the first step?
Phase 1 is all about getting that initial foundation built. A really common, achievable goal here is to save a $1,000 quick start fund, maybe in the first month or 2.
Just $1,000, compared to maybe needing $10,000 or $20,000 eventually.
I know it sounds small, but research actually shows that having even just that $1,000, it can prevent a surprising number of common financial hiccups, like a small car repair or an unexpected bill from turning into a bigger debt problem.
Okay, that's powerful. So how do people get to that first $1,000? What are some concrete actions?
It takes a real focus. First, you got to track your spending for a week or 2, really see where the money's going.
Mm-hmm.
Then look for immediate cuts. Cancel subscriptions. You don't use those little monthly charges, add up fast.
The subscription creep.
Totally. Try a 24-hour waiting period or even 48 hours before buying anything non-essential. You'd be surprised how often the urge just passes.
Yeah, impulse control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Set up small automatic transfers to that new savings account. Even $10 or $20 a week starts building momentum.
Automation is key.
Huge. And track your progress. Seeing that balance tick up, even slowly, is really motivating.
Okay, those sound like things most people could tackle. What happens after you hit that $1,000 mark?
Then you move into phase 2, the growth stage. This might take, say, months 3 through 6. And the goal here is bigger. Save up 1 full month of your essential expenses.
Okay, 1 month's worth. How do you accelerate the saving now?
This is where you start optimizing things more. One really effective strategy is direct deposit splitting.
How does that work?
You set it up with your employer, if possible, so that when your paycheck hits, a certain percentage or amount goes directly into your emergency savings account before you even see it in checking.
Paying yourself first, literally.
Exactly. It takes the decision-making out of it each payday. Another big focus in phase 2 is boosting your income.
Finding ways to make more money.
Yeah. Could be overtime at work, finding a side gig you enjoy, selling stuff you don't need anymore online, maybe some freelance work. Every extra bit helps accelerate things. And adopt the save first rule religiously. Any income comes in paycheck, side hustle money, whatever. Put your planned savings amount away first before you budget for anything else. Treat saving like your most important bill.
Got it. Save first. So by maybe month 6, the goal is 1 month of expenses saved. What's phase 3?
Phase 3 is optimization. This might be months 7 through 12 or however long it takes you. The goal here is usually hitting that 3-month expense mark or maybe even more, depending on your personal target we discussed earlier.
Okay, 3 months. And optimization means?
It means really fine-tuning your financial system, making saving sustainable long-term.
How do you do that?
You start digging deeper into your regular fixed expenses. Look at your internet bill, your phone plan, insurance policies. Can you negotiate better rates?
Up.
Yeah, absolutely. Shop around. See if bundling services saves money. Compare insurance quotes every year or so. If you have debt, explore refinancing options for lower rates or payments.
Those things you kind of set and forget, but they can add up.
Exactly. Even small savings on fixed costs free up cash flow month after month. And phase 3 is also about leveraging saving triggers.
Saving triggers, what are those?
Think about unexpected money that comes in. A tax refund, maybe a bonus from work, a cash gift, even money you saved by cutting an expense.
Windfalls.
Yeah. Have a plan before that money arrives. Decide, say, okay, 50% of any bonus goes straight to the emergency fund. Automate that if you can.
Okay, so you build the fund diligently, phase by phase. Now, how do you protect it? Make sure it's only used for real emergencies. You need rules, right?
Oh, absolutely. Clear, non-negotiable rules are critical. Otherwise, that fund can disappear pretty quickly on things that aren't true emergencies.
So you need to define what counts.
Yes. Define what's a legitimate emergency versus something that, well, should be paid for out of your regular budget or maybe a separate savings goal.
Okay, give us some examples. What's a legitimate emergency?
Think major, unexpected, and critical. Losing your job is the classic one. A serious, unexpected medical bill. Essential car repairs like you need the car to get to work.
Okay, can't be put off.
Exactly. Major home repairs that are urgent, burst pipe, broken furnace in winter, things that cause bigger problems if ignored.
Makes sense.
And maybe a true family emergency that requires immediate funds.
Okay, so on the flip side, what's not an emergency, even if it feels urgent?
This is where discipline comes in. Planned expenses, even big ones like property taxes or vacations, those need their own savings plan.
Mm-hmm.
Holiday shopping is definitely not an emergency. Neither are those amazing sales or limited time offers.
Oh, the temptation.
I know. Non-essential purchases, things you just want. And even regular maintenance, like oil changes for your car or yearly AC servicing, that should be part of your normal budget.
That distinction is so crucial. Okay, so what if a real emergency happens? You use some of the money.
Mm-hmm.
What's the plan then? How do you build it back up?
Replenishing the fund becomes your absolute number one financial priority again.
Right back to the top of the list.
Immediately. First, figure out exactly how much you used. Then, set a firm but realistic timeline to get it back to full.
Okay.
You'll probably need to temporarily bump up your automatic transfers again, cut back hard on any non-essential discretionary spending for a while.
Tighten the belt.
Yep. And just like when you were building it, look for extra income opportunities specifically to speed up that replenishment.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Priority one until it's full again. Okay, we've covered the basics really well.
Mm-hmm.
Are there advanced strategies for people who want to go further?
Yeah, there are a couple of interesting ways to think about it once you have the core fund built. One is a layered approach.
Layered, how does that work?
You basically create tiers based on accessibility. Tier 1 might be a smaller amount, say $1,000 or $2,000, kept in a very accessible regular savings account for super quick, small needs.
Okay, immediate access.
Tier 2 is your main fund, the 3, 6, 8 months of expenses in that high-yield savings account. Still accessible, but slightly less so.
Right, the core buffer.
And then Tier 3, for someone wanting even more security, could be another chunk of money, maybe another 3+ months worth. This part, you might consider putting in very low-risk, easily sellable investments.
Investments for an emergency fund?
Potentially for that extended layer only. Very low-risk things like maybe certain types of bonds or money market funds that could earn a bit more than savings but are still quite liquid if a major prolonged emergency hits. It's not for everyone, but it's an option for optimizing that larger buffer.
Interesting. What about optimizing the saving process itself beyond just direct deposit?
Yeah, we can call that automation excellence. We talked about direct deposit splitting, but you can add other layers. Lots of banks have roundup features now, right? They round up your debit card purchases to the nearest dollar and sweep the change into savings.
Oh, yeah.
So those little bits add up. There are also apps designed specifically for automatic saving. They analyze your spending and transfer small amounts you likely won't miss. And things like cashback rewards from credit cards. You could set a rule to transfer all that cash back directly into your emergency fund.
Nice. Automating everything.
As much as possible. And finally, tracking your progress consistently. Set up alerts, check in monthly, do a bigger review, maybe quarterly or annually. Keep it top of mind.
This is all great in theory, but let's talk real world. People face challenges, right? What about someone thinking, I just don't earn enough money to save, limited income?
That's a really common and valid challenge. The key there is truly starting small. Don't get discouraged by the big target number.
Focus on just starting.
Yes. Even if you can only increase your savings rate by 1% of your income right now, do it. Then maybe another 1% next month. Small steps build momentum.
Yep.
You also have to be ruthless about cutting non-essential costs. Every dollar counts. And actively look for any way to bring in extra income, even if it's just a few hours a week doing something on the side. Focus cuts on the things with the biggest impact.
Makes sense. What about the flip side, irregular income? We touched on it, but how do they manage saving consistently?
Right, the freelancer dilemma. First, base your emergency fund target on your leanest months. Calculate essentials based on when income is lowest.
So you're covered even in the bad times.
Exactly. Also, try creating an income buffer account. When you have a great month, stash the extra income there, separate from checking and emergency savings. Then you can draw from that buffer to smooth out your income in leaner months.
Ah, like your own internal paycheck stabilizer.
Kind of, yeah. And you definitely have to save a higher percentage of your income during the good months to make up for the lean ones. Be really intentional about it.
Okay. And the third big challenge, juggling goals. I need an emergency fund, but I also need to pay off debt, save for a down payment. How do you prioritize?
That's a tough one, feeling pulled in different directions. The general advice, prioritize getting that initial $1,000 emergency fund first.
The quick start fund.
Yes. Because having that small cushion prevents unexpected costs from forcing you into more debt or derailing your other goals completely.
Okay, step one is the bulky buffer. Then what?
Then you might need to split your focus. Decide what percentage of your available extra money goes to the emergency fund versus debt paydown versus other savings goals.
They allocate it.
Use windfalls strategically, maybe half to the emergency fund, half to debt. Consider opening separate savings accounts for each major goal to keep things clear. And be prepared to review and adjust those allocations as your situation changes.
Okay, super helpful. This has been incredibly detailed. To really help listeners get started, could we maybe map out a kind of implementation timeline? Like what to do week by week?
Absolutely. Let's make it concrete. Week 1, it's all about getting your baseline. Calculate your essential monthly expenses. Get that number.
Okay.
Open that dedicated high-yield savings account if you don't have one. Set up your first automatic transfer. Even if it's small, just get it started. And start tracking your spending meticulously for the week. Every dollar.
Get that clarity. Okay, week 2.
Week 2 is optimization. Look at your track spending from week 1. Where can you realistically cut back? Find specific things.
Right.
Increase that automatic transfer, even just slightly. Brainstorm 1 or 2 real ideas for extra income. And physically write down your emergency fund rules. What counts, what doesn't for you.
Make it official. Week 3.
Week 3 is acceleration. Implement those saving triggers. Decide how you'll handle windfalls. Set up roundups if you haven't.
Okay.
Take another look at your bills. Make one call to try and negotiate a lower rate.
Take action.
And take the first step on that extra income idea you had last week. Post an ad, make a call, whatever it is.
Get it moving. And week 4.
Week 4 is review and planning. Look at your progress over the first 3 weeks. How much did you save?
Checking.
Adjust your savings rate or spending if needed based on what you learn. Look ahead at next month. Any big, predictable expenses coming up, plan for them.
Right.
And set a specific, achievable savings goal for your emergency fund for the next month. Keep the momentum going.
That's such a clear, practical roadmap. Love it. So, final thoughts. For someone listening right now feeling motivated, what are the absolute first things they should do, like today?
Okay. Right now, literally today, number 1, calculate your target fund amount, figure out your essential monthly expenses, and multiply.
Got it.
Number 2, open that dedicated high-yield savings account if needed. Takes a few minutes online usually.
Yep.
Number 3, set up that first automatic transfer. Even if it's just $20 or $50, just do it now. Get the ball rolling.
Okay. Calculate, open, transfer. What about this week?
This week, dig into your spending, find some cuts, and write down those emergency fund rules. Solidify the plan.
And by the end of this month.
Aim to have saved your first $100 to $500. The amount isn't as critical as establishing the habit. Make saving automatic, track your progress. Build that consistency.
Okay. And looking out over the next 90 days.
The big goal for the next 3 months should be hitting that $1,000 Quick Start Fund milestone. Keep optimizing income and expenses. Keep layering on those saving strategies. Build towards that first important buffer.
Building this fund, it really can feel like a journey, sometimes a long one. But it truly is that cornerstone, isn't it, for real financial security?
Absolutely. It's about creating that buffer, that breathing room, that sense of calm and control, knowing you can handle life's surprises without it becoming a crisis.
Yeah, taking the fear out of the unexpected.
Exactly. Every single dollar you save in that fund, it's a direct investment in your own resilience, your peace of mind. It's progress towards independence.
So as you're listening, maybe driving or working out, just take a second. Really think about what that feeling would be like, that sense of security. Facing an unexpected bill, not with panic, but with, okay, I've got this covered. How would that change things? What other financial goals could you pursue more confidently with that foundation in place?
It opens up possibilities. And remember, the most important step is always that first one.
Right now. Yeah.
Take 5 minutes today. Calculate your expenses. Open the account. Set up that first transfer. No matter how small it feels, taking that first action, that's the most powerful move you can make towards real financial freedom.